I'm Juanita Ingram, and this is Legal Notion Talk Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Legal Notion. We don't have hot topics on Legal Notion, but we do have a hot docket. I am Juanita Ingram, your host. I'm joined with me by my colleagues, Erica Davis,
Jana Matthews,
and we're going to jump right into what's on the docket for today. Who has it?
I have it today. I have the first case on the docket. Mm-hmm. So out of Chicago, Illinois, a neighborhood called Inglewood. Mm-hmm. So this is an instance of a bait truck, and I think we all kind of know what that is a little bit. There was a show that used to be bait cars where police would leave cars running and see who would come and get in the car and steal it, and they would like shut down the engine. Mm-hmm. So a similar situation, they set up a truck near a basketball court in a predominantly black neighborhood in the inner city. It's not just a truck. The truck is filled with Jordans. And there's some debate on whether the door was open, wasn't the door open, but either way.
But you can see that they were Jordans.
You can tell what's in the truck. And it stands out, right? I mean, how many box trucks are parked by
a basketball court?
Okay, right.
That's low.
That's
real low.
Right.
I just want to add that that's dirty.
Right. So the justification that they gave is that they are trying to reduce patterns of crime. Okay. So I guess my first question is, what pattern is there with box trucks near a basketball court? So I'm not sure exactly what they were getting at.
Right.
It's my sentiment that they're really just trying to go for low-hanging fruit. And you know that if you put something in front of people in a low-income neighborhood, they aren't able, a lot of them, to afford these things. So it's like, oh my God, it's here. And they jump on it. Yeah. So just a mess.
It's like the food at the food court. If you see it, you're going to take it. Yeah. So that's the same with Jordans. I mean, that's a staple in the outfit.
Yeah.
So to put it next to a basketball court is saying, here, come take me.
Yeah.
How is this not entrapment? Because I have two thoughts on this. How is this not entrapment?
Okay, so let's talk about entrapment a little bit. Mm-hmm. So entrapment essentially is when police use tactics to reel you in, right? It's an enticement, and interestingly enough, it's not against the law for them to lie to you, to get information from you. Yes, they can lie to you. They can tell you all kinds of. They can tell you that things happened that really didn't happen to try to compel answers out of you. So it's not that per se, but the standards that they use. So there's two of them. Mm-hmm. So the first one is an objective test. Would a reasonable person in a similar situation have done the same thing?
So in that case, I mean, reasonable person in the same situation at the basketball court, you have a group of people who have the same mindset, most likely.
Right. And if you're in a particular demographic, now it could go either way, right? Yeah. Because if you're in front of judge and jury, and your jury is comprised of 12 people that don't have a demographic like you, then they would say that is not a reasonable action. Like, just because it was there doesn't mean you should have taken it. So
this is why it's important that people of color become members of the jury.
Oh,
that part too, but I think also, I mean, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute.
Let's do that.
Okay? So just because the truck was there and it was open and it's accessible, to me, you can make the analogy, and maybe this is an extreme, I don't know, but it's like the drunk girl who's laid out on the couch who's drunk. I mean, either you're a rapist or you're not.
That is very true.
Either you see the drunk girl laid out on the truck on the bed and you take advantage of her, just because she's there doesn't mean that you have the propensity to be a rapist. So just because the truck is there and the shoes are there, does that necessarily mean that you have the propensity to steal?
That's true. And let's take it a step further. We are in 2018 now, and this situation has transpired a number of times. And there has been a whole TV show. There's stuff on YouTube.
Right.
I mean, it's like
To Catch a Predator.
Come on now.
Like, you saw a whole show about To Catch a Predator. Now, either you want to talk about little 12-year-old girls in their panties, or you don't. Like,
it's either in you or it's not.
Yeah, you're not gonna take the bait if you're not a pedophile. That's what you're not. But maybe that's extreme. Pedophilia versus stealing a pair of Jordans, not really the same kind of criminal mindset.
Yeah.
So is that the distinction?
That's true. And the second thing that they look at is kind of like a subjective standard. What was do they have a propensity for this? Have they done it before? So I will tell you, if you have committed a crime before and you try to use entrapment as your defense, you're probably going to lose.
It's not going to happen.
You've done it before and they're not trapping you. This is your free will. So
The bottom line is, don't break the law. There's that. If you see the drunk girl, don't rape her.
yeah.
If you see the open truck, don't steal.
Don't
Right.
That's the takeaway today from that. So, but you have a hot docket.
I do. And this is about in Santa Fe, New Mexico, not just the candy is sour. We're here again where we have a clerk at the Allsup's convenience store where we have a 22-year-old African-American gentleman who's a student, pre-med student from Xavier University in town for a Native American culture class. And he goes to buy some Sour Patch gummy bears, which we know are very good.
Yes. Very
If you don't, try them out.
Very
Anyway,
tasty.
so he goes, buys his Sour Patch gummy bears, and the clerk basically picks up the phone after he's paid for it, calls the police, and there's a video of him, he videoed her saying she wanted him out the store, and not to mention, the reason why, because he was arrogant and black. That's other than that. But what she told the police, reports range between that it was either disorderly conduct or larceny. And
so hold on.
Yes.
So larceny as in theft, as in he was stealing Sour Patch Kids and he's a pre-med student? I just want to put
yes.
that.
And he had already paid for them.
He'd already paid, but the child, he continued to look around the store. You're like, okay, I want some Sour Patch gummy bears. And he kept looking, but he didn't have anything else in his pocket. And so basically, the police come expecting to answer to a crime. And he didn't do anything. All he was a black man in a grocery store where he paid for it. We have to call this behavior out. We will continue to talk about it as long as people continue to do it because this is ridiculous.
Instance after instance.
And I'm happy to hear that the young man was not arrested because so oftentimes, sometimes they default to the negative. I'm happy to hear that he was not arrested. I still contend that there is a basis for harassment and perhaps the elevation to a hate crime, because the only reason why you racially profiled this young man was because of the color of his skin, the abuse of 911. At some point in time, we have to start holding these individuals who abuse 911 accountable.
Absolutely.
So my hot docket for the day, Lala combined with BET to make a wonderful documentary. It was called Killer Curves. Did you guys see it?
I did not.
I have not had a chance.
Get your DVRs ready. Check it out. You know it's BET, so they're going to play it 15 times.
Right.
So, you're going to catch it.
At a minimum.
Fascinating. I think in this day and age, in terms of butt augmentation. So this expose was about the world of butt augmentation. K. Michelle was on
I don't know anything about butt.
I know. Well, now I'm Tennessee. We homegrown. Okay, we don't really need
Indiana.
Born
and raised.
We don't really need all
Is she
of
from
that.
Memphis? She didn't need it, right?
No, she didn't.
She didn't. I mean, she's Tennessee, and arguably, here's the thing. I am not opposed to plastic surgery. I'm not opposed to a little tweak, little tuck and tweak, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Diane Carroll, who I love dearly as an actress, as a person, said after 35, every woman every 5 years should do a little something to help her age with grace. I'm all for that. But if you go to someone's apartment for any type of procedure, I don't even want you to do my nails in your apartment. I don't want you to do my lashes in your apartment. I don't want anything done in a basement apartment about anything on my body. There were accounts in this documentary, and there have been numerous accounts of women who have gone to apartments. You don't know what's being injected in your body. There are many celebrities that have come out and said, I don't know what's in my body. I understand the need to change and that women want to enhance, but I think that we have to be cognizant of the fact that we are dying because of it. So I love this documentary because it told the truth about K. Michelle and her process of healing. They thought that she had everything from lupus to God knows what because of the fatigue that she was experiencing from the silicone that was injected in the foreign objects that were injected in her body. One lady on the show said that you could put a fist in the side of her hip because her hip had opened up so wide from the silicone oozing out of her body. And your body is fighting these foreign agents. Now, we know from around 1940 up until now, it took about 50 or 60 years to perfect silicone implants in terms of the breast. And there were numerous product liability cases, numerous malpractice, cases, and tort cases about women who are dying paralyzed. It took us a long time to get breast implants right.
Exactly.
I think the problem that we have here, not only with the silicone injection, the fact that you can go in somebody's basement and get Fix-A-Flat,
rubber cement,
anything,
car oil, anything that they can use to
that
inject you
should not be in your butt, your thighs, or anywhere else in your body.
You really shouldn't.
No,
you should have a butt made of Fix-A-Flat. But squats will do.
Yeah.
However, I recognize that I don't know the plight of women who are shaped in a particular way.
That's true.
I don't struggle with that issue. But for those who do, you know, it is a real issue. It's a real problem, and I don't want to take away from that, because for women who struggle with issues with after breastfeeding or whatnot, and they get augmented, I think we have to be cognizant, though, that we do things in a safe manner.
That's a great point.
And there are some, even with licensed physicians, there are some physicians who have had lawsuits and butchered women because they used to be an allergy, nose, throat, and allergist one day, then they decided to do plastic surgery the next.
Yes.
They were a gynecologist last week, and next week they do a butt augmentations because it's profitable.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you have to be careful, even with derma fillers. There are a lot of products liability cases now with Sculptra and all of these derma fillers that were meant to fill in under the eye, the laugh lines, small doses in the body. But now you're taking them and filling up a whole hip and filling up a whole rear end with a lot of derma filler. And there are women, there was one account of a woman in New York. Now, she did go to an apartment basement in New York. Okay, girl.
Which is not certified.
No, it's not certified. And
Registered.
it's tragic. It's tragic because she got
Probably
the
not
injection.
insured.
No, of course not.
Of course.
And there were supposed to be silicone injections that she received. No anesthesia. Mother of 2. And this was, I think, about 6 months ago. Mother of 2. 2 days later, dropped dead. You know, by the time she got home, she was calling 911 because of the way that she felt. So, ladies, we are out here. We are dying. I think it is a bigger issue and it's a bigger conversation about self-esteem. Again, I am not opposed to plastic surgery.
Absolutely.
I'm not. But I do think that you need to be careful. You need to research it. Research your doctor. You need to research what you're putting in your body. And if you are using something that's off-label, so off-label in products liability malpractice terms, certain products are made for a particular use. When you use them for something outside of that use, it's called going off-label. Derma fillers used to fill in laugh lines, crow's feet, small amounts. But when you go off-label and you start filling up a whole hip full of derma filler, whether it's silicone, derma fillers, or whatever, women are losing legs, they're losing their arms, they're losing their lives to trying to have this idea of perfection from butt augmentations.
And let's talk about the off-label thing, because I know we have to wrap up. But once you do it off-label, you lose your claims. You may not sue them for malpractice or products liability because that was not the intended use. So
it's not absolute. When you use something that's not the intended use, and the FDA has issued out warnings about using derma fillers in this manner. And when they do that, doctors pretty much absolve themselves because you don't notice. You know, you use this at your own risk, but I think it's a wonderful documentary. I suggest every woman look at it before you go under the knife. I know butt augmentations is a big thing, no pun intended, right now. And again, I support women in doing whatever it is that you want to do to make yourself feel your absolute best. But ladies, let's make sure that we do it in a way that is healthy.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for Hot Dockets. We're going to come right back with a juror question, honey. What is your legal notion? We'll be right back. So we have one question from our juror. Juror, what is your legal notion?
I was wondering if the guy that was in the store, that bought the sour patches, if he could sue, and then they could bring any cameras, they could look up the cameras to see if anything was wrong with what they were doing.
That's a good question.
It's a good question. You know, and we talked about this in a previous episode about at what point in time are we going to be able to counteract these acts of what I feel is harassment. Racial profiling, harassment, certainly would be a civil issue. I'm not sure they would rise to the level of criminal unless there were certain laws on the books of New Mexico about the abuse of 911. We don't know all the facts about what transpired between the clerk and the young man. I think that will come out because there are videotapes of that. But I do think at some point in time we have to start holding people accountable for racial profiling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and making sure that these things are being brought to the forefront, but it would be a civil action. I do think that racial profiling is something that is actionable. However, it gets complicated because it's a store clerk. You know, I'm sure and what she called in for was larceny. So I don't know if falsifying a police report comes into play because clearly he had paid for the Sour Patches. So you lied to the police to get them out there to begin with. And that's a falsification and abuse of 911 as well. Whether or not there are hate law crimes, hate crimes are different from state to state. So you have to look them up and see whether or not he could elevate that to a hate crime, because the only reason why she called, in my opinion, was because, well, and not even in my opinion, in her own words, was because he was arrogant and black. So that's what she said.
Yes.
And that's racial profiling. So quite arguably, he could have a civil suit, possibly, but I think it's something that we need to start holding people accountable for, definitely.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for your question. Please stay tuned. We've got a great interview coming up. This is Legal Notion. Welcome back to Legal Notion. We are so excited today. We're talking about motivation and overcoming obstacles. We are so excited to have you back with us.
Oh, thank you.
And you were on Shark Tank.
I was. Yes.
Talk to us about your product, which I wish I could get my hands on.
Can we just say that one more time?
Yeah,
I'm super excited about this.
Yes.
Oh,
Tell
thank
us about
you.
your journey, what that was like, your experience, and the product that you had, and the success that you had.
Thanks. Well, I had an idea. Have you ever had a time where an idea pops in your head and you're like, I wonder if that could be the next big thing?
Yes.
That's what happened to me.
Here we are.
Right.
Case in point.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what happened to me. I was just driving down the road one day and I wanted to lose a few pounds, and I had been taking diet pills and they were making me sick at my stomach and feeling yucky, like the weird buzzing feeling. And I quit taking them, and I just, said forget it. And I was reapplying my lip gloss in the rearview mirror when I was sitting at a red light. And then I was like putting it on and thought, I wonder if you could put a smell or an herb or something in a lip gloss that can help to curb your appetite. And then I wouldn't have to swallow a pill, a diet pill, right? And I would feel better.
Yeah.
Like an all natural version.
Because I've heard there was a study years ago, and I don't remember the exact number of pounds, but women swallow gallons of lip gloss and lip products over their lifetime.
Right.
So, yes.
That's true, and I saw that article.
Okay.
Yeah. That's so true. But my product was called Thin Gloss, a lip gloss made to help curb appetite. It worked through the sense of smell. So there are 3 aromas in the world clinically proven to curb the appetite when you inhale it 3 times through the nose 30 minutes before you eat.
Wow.
And there's a bunch of science around it. I won't go into it. But I was doing so well in real estate, and that I had that idea in the back of my mind. And I kept thinking, I just have to go for it. I have to try it, right?
Yeah,
it's my next leap of faith, right? The bold step. So I did. I developed the product, finally got shipped to me, ready to be sold.
Wow.
And I turned in my notice at my corporate job in real estate, and then just went for it. And
now that's a leap of faith.
That was, let me tell you, that took me like a month. That took me like a month. My hand was shaking. I turned in my notice with that 6-figure income, right?
Wow.
Security.
Yes.
Yeah. But being an entrepreneur, that's what it's about. It's taking that leap of faith and knowing that there's maybe not a safety net.
But can you do that in a calculated way? Where
Absolutely.
You're safer than...
Yeah, I call it building a bridge.
Okay.
Building a bridge, which is what I recommend now. Building a bridge is, you get an idea, you're excited about it, you want to start a business, you can build a bridge. Keep the day job a little bit longer while you're building this on the side. And when you build up some income that gets close to surpassing that income that you're making at the job, then it's time to make the leap. It's easier to do it that way. You can do it the other way. But in hindsight, I wish I would have stayed maybe a little bit longer on the journey, just a little longer to give me a little bit more cash flow coming in while I'm building up the sales volume.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So with your clients, you help them build mission-focused platforms, reach more of their ideal clientele.
Yes.
How do you do that?
Yeah, so what I do is specialize in is sales and marketing strategy, because that's what I've done. And not only do I help them clarify their marketing message so their ideal clients will respond to them, so that they'll actually get more clients with ease, because the messaging is lands and people respond to it. But also, the other piece that I do is I also help clients that they know that they're meant to be more famous. And I don't mean the kind of fame that's driven by ego or trying to prove our worthiness. I'm talking about the kind of fame that's driven from a place of love and trust, and there's a higher purpose to it. It's because you genuinely have a message, a product or service that you know in your heart can genuinely help people.
Absolutely.
And you need to reach more people so you can help more people, but you can't help them if they can't find you.
That's right.
That's why visibility is so important. And it doesn't matter what business you have. You can have a coaching, consulting business, an entrepreneur with a product, you can sell a service, a talk show.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And it's like the visibility is key. So I do help people become famous and build a platform online, reaching thousands and even millions of their ideal clients. It's the people that they're called to serve in an authentic way that serves, that you're transforming lives and helping people get real results in their life.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How many people, I guess it's hard to say how many people you've helped, but give us an example of one of the clients that you've helped.
Sure. Well, so far I have about 1.5 million views on my YouTube channel.
Wow.
I have 22,000 subscribers for my social media and blog combined. So I've kind of built a foundation of my through trial and error, right? I didn't start out just saying,
like,
I know how to do that,
Right.
But what I've done is I've been able to see, okay, what works and what doesn't work, and really what's authentic, and how to stay in that space, and how to become more of a magnetic leader. Because it's really it's not just about what you're doing and the marketing strategy and those practical steps. That's important, but it's also about who you're being. Your state of being in the world determines whether you're magnetically attracting people to you. I'm talking about people not just in your community, but in your state, but even around the world for that matter. You can be a highly magnetic leader. There's things that need to be shifted within internally to radiate a higher magnetic vibration as a human being.
Okay.
As well as having your marketing strategy in place.
So you help people work through all of that.
Yes.
That's what you do.
It's a combination of both. Yeah.
It sounds very therapeutic.
It is. It really
a
is.
therapeutic journey.
Yeah, we talk about core wounds that get linked up in childhood and neutralizing the energy around it. That's when you really cut the cord, and that's what sets you free to really move into that next space of authentic leadership, and then to grow to the next level exponentially.
That's fantastic. Well, tell everyone how they can get in contact with you. How can they become a client? How can they find you?
Sure. The best way to find me is online on aprilyvette.com, or on my YouTube channel, but my website can connect you with all my social media as well.
So aprilyvette.com.
Yes.
And spell Yvette for everyone, even though it'll roll across the street.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still tell us.
April, April, Yvette, YVETTE.com.
TTE.
Yes.
We really enjoyed this segment with April. Make sure you check out her website, become a client. We've enjoyed all the nuggets that you've shared with us today.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us on Legal Notion. Until next week, thank you. Join us as we I'm Juanita Ingram, the host of Legal Notion Talk Show. Join us as we bring you pop culture and current events with a legal twist. Check us out every week on Facebook Watch, Mommy Talk Channel.
My mission in all of my pursuits is to help millions of people show up as their most clued in and confident self in any room that they walk into. If you can walk in and start from a place of confidence and self-assuredness, everything else, regardless of your skill and confidence, translates better. How are they presenting when they're not under stress, when there's no consequence to their questions, when it's just rapport building or
Right.
what they would consider chit chat or small talk?
Yeah.
So if someone is concealing information or somebody is withholding information or relaying dishonest information, their bodies are basically screaming liar, liar.
LeBron James and LeBron James Family Foundation and Akron Public Schools started the I Promise School, which currently has 3rd and 4th graders now. He called Don Lemon dumb
Yeah.
and said that LeBron James was basically along the same lines.
Yeah.
That's so mature.
So yes, he didn't talk about the positivity of helping students in Akron.
And
Absolutely.
it's a well thought out plan. The thing that I like about the school is that it's so inclusive. It, free lunch, so many free programs about what it is that he's doing, that it seems like that he's thought of everything. Those students who finish and matriculate through the school get a free education. I mean, you can't get any more well planned strategically than that.
Right.